Hello, everyone. Enchanted Emerald. This is Melissa bringing you a reading here for Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. And as we get started here, of course, I am using the traditional Rider-Waite deck. That is my go-to deck. That's what I traditionally work with. So here we have the Ace of Wands. Now, I want to be mindful because this actually came out more like in the reverse. You know, it was sideways kind of. So I do feel like things are beginning to turn around for you, but we have to be mindful here that there is a feeling of self-defeat that we have to kind of contend with as we move through this. Now, I feel like there's been some lack of enthusiasm, lack of progress moving forward. Now, I'm specifically drawn to mention the new moon in Capricorn. When you look at that for 2024, that was at the beginning of the year in January. And back in January, I feel like mostly we were kind of excited to embrace a new year. Everyone was joking about bringing out their bingo cards and guessing what in the heck was going to happen for the year. I really felt big changes, mostly on an individual level, but as a collective coming in for this fall. So here we are, we're kind of probably in this reflective mode, looking into the next year because 2025 is going to be here before we know it. And so you could be kind of looking back to things that you were thinking about back in January and wondering, doing some contemplation like, hey, did I do a good job? Have I reached the goals that I set out to reach this year? Things like that. Now, be mindful that the next Capricorn new moon isn't going to happen until like June of next year. So if you were going to give yourself a time frame, give yourself a good 6 months here to kind of work through some of that. You could have been working this year on long-term goals, specifically looking to network with others and really stepping into your personal power on some level as well. And really looking back on that, you have to understand that success can't be measured just by simple progress, right? There's a lot of little battles that you kind of won in between to kind of get you to this point, right? So it's about celebrating those little victories as well. I do feel like it's all brought you to this point in time. And I think with this, there's just going to be some sort of a reconnection, right? Reconnecting with yourself, whether you are literally cleaning out your closet and going through things, looking through old things that kind of reminisce and bring you into a space where you are, thinking about who you used to be to who you are now. Is it the same and how does it differ? Looking at some things that you did when you were younger that you could maybe start to incorporate again now. But it could also be just like this, cleaning out of the emotional closet, right? Really letting go of some of this baggage, things that are weighing you down. Because I do feel like there is this feeling of feeling lost right now, right? And I really feel like because of this and feeling so self-defeated throughout this whole time that you're really very keenly aware and very cognizant of the fact that you have a period in time that you're stepping into now that you can start to celebrate some of these successes, celebrate some of these victories, and, embrace the happiness and the triumph of that, right? You're in your winning season. And so, of course, that comes with some of these emotions surfacing because we can't take that with us into this new era of ourselves, right? And so we have to be able to let go of some of this. Cleaning out the closet is more of an emotional meaning, right? Cleaning out your emotional closet, letting go of some of these baggages and things, maybe not necessarily baggage, but just things that you haven't really stopped to work through and to process. And it's really time to do that because you want to let go of some of that, because in order to be able to step into this new era, you have to be a little bit lighter so that you can move fast, right? Like I feel like dodge bullets, right? I can see you just kind of like moving very quickly from one thing to the next. And so letting go of some of that is creating space for some of that new stuff. I feel like in the past, maybe you felt like you were the odd man out, right? Where you kind of had some barriers that you had to kind of overcome in order to achieve the goal that you're wanting to achieve. And I really feel like this is the same thing that sets you apart. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's all about your perspective here, where you want to be able to use that to your advantage now to achieve the impossible or things that haven't been possible for you up until this point, right? Really starting to embrace some of these things that make you different and unique, and your abilities that you're bringing to the table, right? So really, I think this is more too about establishing ground rules with the people that you are working with, establishing ground rules for yourself too, first and foremost, of what it is that you're going to allow, what it is that you're going to tolerate, what it is that you're hoping to achieve, and where are you going to put your foot down with yourself. Like, listen, no excuses, right? No BS. We are going to get through this. And so really holding yourself accountable on a real level, something that you've maybe not done to this level in the past. But I do feel like there's been some ambivalence too that's kind of come up. And I feel like where in the past you might have been super excited and starting out, and then throughout the path, right, along the way, you kind of like let things go. You realize, man, I kind of psyched myself out. I'm really mentally exhausted, right? Are you allowing the voices in your head to kind of get to you? Are you allowing some of these negative thoughts that are plaguing you, or the devil on your shoulder, so to speak, kind of telling you that you can't do that, or getting distracted and going a whole different way and not focusing so much on that, on what it is that you're hoping to achieve, right? So I feel like, you could be at a crossroads, so to speak, right? And with this crossroads, this is really about you being faced with a choice. And I think up until this point, possibly you chose not to go for it, right? Or if you did, it was like short-lived. You did try a little and then you were like, right? But I think that trickster, that devil on your shoulder, really has really pushed you maybe to like, make it a little easier to back out, right? Because if you're feeling all of these intense emotions, all of these negative thoughts are kind of coming to the surface, I think we have a tendency to maybe give up a little bit easier than if we were feeling supported and positive about what we were working toward. And so this is where you really need to be able to proceed. You really need to flip that script, right? You really need to start to indulge yourself in like, what if I could do that? What if it turned out better than I could have ever imagined, right? Really start to think about those things, because then you're inviting that in and you're sitting in that space of imaginative wonder, which is a great place to start to manifest the things that you want. And so maybe there were things too from the past where you were widely known and accepted for a certain set of behaviors or things that you've done in the past that you would like to be known for. We really need to bring that in, incorporate it into your present version of yourself, okay? So that you can start to examine your life, look at things, and kind of bridge the gap from the past into the present. And I do feel like with that, in that specific time frame, that you're doing that, where you're trying to build that bridge from the past to the present and really recreate, reinvent yourself into stepping into this new era, I do feel like you're going to be fully supported. I feel as though you might even actually hear words of confirmation from other people. So, maybe a person from your past or a link to your past might pop in. You might hear from somebody you haven't heard from in a really long time. You might see something that you haven't seen in a long time. If you look like you're cleaning out your closet and stuff like that, you really could come across something, and then it could just bring up a whole flood of new memories, or not new, but resurface the old ones that have kind of been buried along the way, I guess. But I think that moving into this new energy, it's embracing that like lighter version of yourself. It's important right now for you to sing, right? I feel like this is going to be an outlet for some pent up energy for you, whether you're feeling that sadness, that angst, that anxiety, just overall of life kind of weighing you down. I think that this is a place where it's like our spiritual selves and our physical selves meet when we do that, right? Because when we are singing, we really feel it. If you're allowing yourself to really get into it, you're feeling it, and you're feeling it at a soul level. And what that is is the essence of you. Your soul is your essence. It's your mark on the world, your individuality coming into play. And really, this is divine energy, and it is you, who you are at your core, your truth. And so this is allowing that to kind of come through, and you might feel like you're confronting some of these emotions from the past. You might feel like you're better prepared to handle some of these things as they come up as well, because you're reinvigorating yourself. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. These feelings that you've been feeling, the self-defeat, the sadness, the lack of enthusiasm overall, I really feel like these are things that have consumed you for quite a while now. But this is also something you need to remember that you've allowed. And so I think that moving forward, you can also help yourself to end up seeing things in a different way. So like maybe in the past you were making sacrifices for things, but you were doing this as a last resort, right? You didn't really want to make the sacrifices to make things happen. You were just hoping that things would have a miraculous turnaround, or that over time, all of these little things, these little victories that you've had, it would just change things for you. But we really need to understand, and I'm getting big chills with this, is that when we make those sacrifices on the front end of this is a bargain with your soul, with yourself, right? I'm going to make that sacrifice and I'm going to do the dang thing because I owe it to myself, right? I owe it to myself to invest in myself. So whether that is you needing to set aside the time to work on the things that you want to work on, or setting aside the time to reconnect with yourself, or to get quiet and meditate and really feel it out intuitively, right? To know what your next step is. Whatever it is, whatever sacrifice you've kind of been putting off, it's really important, and it's being highlighted here to step into that sacrifice. Put the work in, because in the end, it will pay off immensely and you'll be reaping the rewards. And that's an amazing thing. So do the things you love, particularly things from the past. Open yourself up and open your heart up to this new change, right? And so really allow yourself to step into your personal power here and, create that space to do the things that you love so that you can easily step into a lighter energy, right? Where if we're feeling unmotivated and we're coming to sit down to work on something, as we get into it, sometimes that unmotivated type energy just kind of falls away because we get lost in it. We get passionate about those things. And so it will re-spark this creativity that you need to re-spark to really turn your Ace of Wands into an upright, right? To really flip it all around. And so the only way out is through is really what I'm feeling the need to emphasize here. And so reinvent yourself. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. And, the crossroads that you have experienced in the past, maybe you're still at that crossroads. I feel like I'm seeing it as like a four-way stop and you're just like, I have no idea where to turn. I don't know where to go, or I have nobody to turn to for advice even, right? Allow yourself to settle into quiet moments and allow that inner compass that we have within our intuition to kind of take the front seat here, to take the lead. Because I feel like in those quiet moments, you'll find the guidance that you need and you'll know exactly which way you need to go and what you need to do and how to get to that point. And so, I really feel like that nudge coming through for us, and some signs that you can look out for as well to know that you're on the right path would be a 333. I'm really feeling called to mention the 333 angel number. Pay attention to your thoughts that you're having when you do see that 333. And you might even find yourself daydreaming, right? And in those moments, you'll be processing things. You'll be processing these emotions. You might have an epiphany and know, aha, like exactly, that's it. That's what I have to do. And, you'll get right to it and you'll get busy doing it and it will start happening for you. You'll just suddenly know that this is the path. But pay attention for those things, because that's the Ace of Wands energy bringing you this beautiful stroke of luck. So I love this energy for us, and I do so hope that this reading resonates for you. you as always. Please don't hesitate to give me a like, share this with someone that might also benefit from hearing this message. And as always, I will be back with another read for you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Take care.